streams before, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm kind of practicing here. I don't know if a lot of people would want to see the type of content that I do in a live stream, but I figured I'd give it a shot, especially on this project, which we are designing these modular storage bins. And yes, you can go to the store and you can buy something similar, and a lot of people do, and it probably probably would take a lot less time and effort. But we wanted to do something really, really custom for the desk that we just built. And we need to store all different kinds of small parts. So one of these drawers you can see is filled with threaded inserts for 3D printing. So we're going to have sections of our desk devoted to 3D printed parts. We're going to have soldering parts and electrical parts. We're also going to have laser parts for our 3D printers, all different kinds of stuff. So if you've seen our new desk, our new gamer desk, it has this space with a bunch of LED lights behind it. And that space is specifically built to house all of these storage bins. And these storage bins started out as a 3D model. And we specifically designed these to be modular and fit together kind of like Lego. So on the sides, they have these holes and these pins and the pins can go in on either side. They're not permanent. They pop out depending on how you're putting them together. And these sides have 2 pins, one on this side, one on that side. And you can push them together. And if you get them aligned correctly, then they fit together. And you can stack them. You can stack them in any direction you want. And they also don't have to be 2 by 2 inches. Because these are made on a 2 by 2 grid, we can actually have some of these bins 4 by 4 or 2 by 4 or even Tetris type shapes. So that's kind of the general design. And these were all 3D printed on our Bamboo Lab printer. But in order to get, 3D printers aren't great at printing transparent. And we wanted all of the bins to have transparent sides. So these we're combining with let's see if I can pop this off real quick, with an acrylic part that we're cutting on our CNC. So all of these were cut on our Avid CNC. And that's combined with all of the 3D printed parts that we're getting off our Bamboo Lab printer. And we went through a ton of different iteration. You can see all the different iterations here to make sure that the tolerances were correct, both on the CNC, like cutting out these parts, and the 3D printed parts. So they would marry together really, really well and really accurately. And they do now, even though we spent like days and days tweaking and recutting and fitting and trying again. Even though we're great with the calipers, trying to measure and get things, it still took a long time to make sure that we were cutting these out correctly. So once we get the CNC acrylic parts cut and the 3D printed parts printed, then we glue them together with what's called weld-on number 4, which is this really thin solvent-type liquid, which will melt the plastic together. So it's a permanent bond. And it's better than CA glue because it doesn't leave as many marks and weird stuff. It's actually really, really good for this type of application. So going back to the bins that we're building, you can see the orange one is a previous bin that we put together. We wanted to be able to have the bins pull in and out safely. Sorry, one of the pins is misaligned. Pull in and out safely and not come out because you don't want to spill anything. But we also wanted to be able to tilt them out and take them with you. So if you have a project across the room and you have a bunch of threaded inserts for 3D printing, or if you have a bunch of other stuff and you want to take it with you, you can pull these off the desk and bring it to wherever you're working. But they're secure enough to where they won't fall off. And that's because of this little notch that we put in the rails that we 3D printed. I'm not sure if you can see that well. So when you pull it all the way out, it goes all the way to the end of that curve. And then you push it back in a little bit and then find that little notch. And then you're able to, whoa, sorry. then you're able to take it with you wherever you want if you tilt it like that. And that took a while to try to figure out and try to get it in the right position and without losing a lot of space. You see how the back of this drawer is kind of curved over. So, so yeah, they're actually working out pretty well right now. And like I mentioned before, they don't have to be just 2 by 2 inches. Because they're on a grid and because they're modular, you can make them 4 by 4 inches or 4 by 2 or 2 by 6 or 4 by 8. And we're actually 3D printing some in the shop right now that to show how different that they can be. And then if you look at how we've stacked them all up and put them all together on this one, you can see the front of all the drawers come together really closely. And it gives this whole front of this whole thing this smooth type of look. And you can see some of the glue is a little weird because we're still kind of practicing that. But overall, these things are working out really well. So again, we're going to put a ton of different 3D printed parts or parts for 3D printing in this section. We have 4 more sections like this that we're going to build or we're printing up right now. And I'm not sure if I talked about this already, but you can see how this is one of the tests for hole sizes. And you probably can't see the differences in hole sizes because we were trying to get the tolerances down to 0.005 inches. So it's really snug on the pins and the drawers fit really well together, and it took forever. But the reason why these are all teardrop shaped is because we don't want to use, when we 3D print these, we stand them up like this, and we don't want to use supports because it just adds to the printer time. So all of the undercut angles, like the tops of the circles or the tops of these things, we angled either like a 45-degree angle or a 30-degree angle. So we don't need any supports when we print these at all. The printer will come up and actually start printing over these overhangs a little bit because they're at the right angle where it won't cause any issues. And it worked out great. It worked out really well. We also added these holes in the back. So our desk is in a certain situation where we can just sit these on the shelf of the desk. But if you wanted to in your shop, you could take these and use screws and screw them directly to the wall. And that will add support so the whole thing can hang from the wall. Obviously, if you wanted to take the entire bin out and replace it with a different bin, you'd have to unscrew it. But in order to do that, you would just pop off the pins and unscrew the bolts and then pull those out, and especially if one gets damaged or anything like that. I want to quickly show all of these store-bought tilt bins that we have in our workshop. And these have worked out really well. We have a ton of different parts in them, but those are fairly large and not the right size to fit on our desk. So we wanted to try to use some of those features and some of those inspiration to make our own versions of those. And a couple people actually have seen these and said, oh yeah, this would be perfect for Hot Wheels, or oh yeah, they'd be perfect for something else. But that's essentially where the design and inspiration is coming from. So happy to answer any questions if you have any. Again, I'm not a pro at doing live streams, so I've been practicing a little bit, but cool. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any